Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another very important example related to component and servers communication. So in this session, we will create one example where we will send the data from a component to a service. So you can say that it's a one-way communication. Okay. So we will go in the very same way. Like firstly, I'll explain you the requirement of this task, why do we need such scenarios, and we will discuss the example with real world scenarios. But before we move further with this process, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to use Angular component to send the data to service. Okay, alright, so let's get started. And for the complete course, you can refer the Sharmit digital course book, which you can find in the description box, and it is freely available for everyone. There is nothing to pay for that book. You can simply refer it. Okay, alright, so let's move further. Here you can see we have one heading that shows Angular 19 course by Sharmit. After this we will put second heading, and this heading will tell you about the topic of today's session. Okay, so what is the topic for today's session? Like, we are going to send the data from where to where? From component to service. So let's write it in the same way. Component to service. Component sends data to service. Okay, and you can say it's a one-way communication. Okay, it's a one-way communication. Component sends data to service one way, on, not on, it should be one way. Okay, perfect. So with this heading, one thing is sure, that we need a service. So let's create the service. So to create the service, I will run the command that is ng, which is for Angular, g is for generate, s is for service, my folder, which is nothing but a folder name, then slash, and then the service name. Now to explain this thing in a very simple way, let's take a real world scenario. So suppose in a school, one teacher came in the class, and she or he is using the register, student attendance register, to log the attendance. Okay, so in this scenario you can consider that attendance register as a service which is going to collect the data from multiple components, and in this case components are the students. So whenever teacher call the name of any of the student, they will say present on, like if student is present, he or she simply say present, right? So in that case, teacher will mark that name as a register. That means the student is there. Okay, so in this whole scenario, you can relate the student as a component that are going to send the data present by saying present, right? And the register where we are logging all these information, that student register is going to collect the data, and we can consider it as a service. Clear? Alright, so let's move further and create the service with the teacher attendance name. So teacher attendance nggs, my folder, teacher attendance, and then simply press enter. So once you press enter, it will take few seconds and it will create a service for you. So you can see one folder is created here where we have two files. One is attendance.service.spec.ts, another one is a student another one is teacher attendance service.ts. spec.ts we are not going to touch. You all know that we rarely use this file. In fact, whenever we use it with a like so far, like we haven't used it. In future maybe we will use it, but for now we are not going to touch anything here in this file. Whatever logic we will write will come under this teacher attendance.service.ts file. Clear? Okay, now let's write the logic. So here you can see firstly, like we have imported, although it is created by default, but let me explain you. Here it is importing the injectable, right? Then we have injectable decorator, which is defined for root level. Okay, that means entire application can use this service. Okay, then we have this export class teacher attendance service with a constructor. So now firstly what we will do, we will simply create one array. So let me clear this constructor part. Here I will create one string array for the attendance. Okay, so right here attendance, then colon, then string of array, and this is case sensitive, so always make sure to write it in a same case. Okay, so this is added. Now next what we are going to do, we are going to create one method. So here we will write mark method, mark attendance, parenthesis, and here in this situation we are going to receive the value also, right? So let's receive the student name, colon string. Okay, then we use curly braces here. Here I will write this dot attendance dot push. Why we are using this push method? It will help us to append the data in the array. Okay, and then we just saved it. For the verification purpose, we will add the console.log here, and in this log we will just simply mention marked present, and also we will add the student name so that we can verify that it is successfully marked or not. That's it. So in service you just need to write this simple logic, because now we are just talking about the basics, right? This is just a demo program, so that's why I tried to make it very simple for you. So here what we did, like we created one string array with a blank value, then we created a mark attendance method. In this method we are receiving the student name, which is nothing but a type of string. Then we are assigning it, then we are this dot attendance dot push student name, so we are just pushing this student name into the attendance array, and then we are also creating a log, console.log mark present student name. Okay, alright, so now let's see how we will use it in a component.ts file. So this app.component.ts file you can consider as a student who is going to say present or present, right? So let's see how we will write the logic here. So for that you just need one constructor to register the service first. So let me add a constructor over here, constructor. Then we will write here private, then we will write here teacher, let's write it teacher only. Okay, and then teacher attendance service. That's it. Now you can add curly braces, and here after this we will use one method, that is mark present, which is simple method, then curly braces, then we will write here this dot teacher dot mark attendance. Okay, so from here we are sending the data, which is nothing but a name of the students, example Sharmit. That's it. Okay, so what we did, like we have connected this service with teacher, then from teacher we are sending we are calling the method that is mark attendance, which is already created in the service file, and we are sending a name to it. Okay, fine. Now let's make it a semicolon, not other than that. Okay, fine. So this is ready. Now it's time to use it in HTML. So what we will do here, we will simply add one p tag, and here not p tag, let's create a button here. Okay, so that we can call that method, because in TS file also, like we have created was this method mark present. So here what I'll do, I'll write here simply click, and in click we will write mark present, which is nothing but a method, and here we will write mark present. Okay, and it's a method, so let's put it like this, save it and run the application. So ng server -- open, enter, wait for a few seconds, and then it will show you the output with the required data. and in that output we will verify the both headings plus button. So you can see Angular 19 course by Sharmit is there, component sends data through service one-way communication is also there, which is nothing but a heading of our today's session. Then we have this button. So to click this button, before we click this button, let's open the inspect because we want to check the console, and here click on console, and now you can click on this button. So when I click on this button, you can see marked present Sharmit is edit. If I click it again, 2 3 4, so it is repeating every time because every time we are sending the data. For now we have just hard coded the name of the student, but maybe you can receive it from a screen and then you can perform these operations. So overall what we discussed how to send the data from a component to a service, and this is a one-way communication. So I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Sharmit.